We're going to go to page 145 today. By the way, we're done practicing for the test. I know some people haven't done the test yet. That's okay. You're ready for it. And then when the ones that have done it, you're done. So that's good. But as far as my class, we're going to move on. We're just going to keep going through the grammar and the writing from here. So 145. And this is review, which is nice, meaning you already know about prepositions. We've talked about those before. And we know about prepositional phrases and all that. So it says here on 145, a preposition starts a phrase that shows the relationship between a noun or pronoun and another word in the sentence. The soldier fell into the moat. Into shows the relationship between the soldier and the moat. It shows where the soldier fell. Here's another example. The soldier jumped over the moat. Over shows the relationship between the soldier and the moat. It shows where the soldier jumped. Okay, so a lot of times it shows where in a sentence. Write a sentence with a prepositional phrase that shows the relationship between princess and bridge. Princess and bridge. And just in case you forgot your prepositions, you should have a Post-it note on that page. Up here, look for the one that says prepositions. It's actually on page 43. If you go to that page where you see that Post-it note, there's a list down here at the bottom. So I want you guys to think about it. You're thinking about a princess and a bridge, and what you're going to say about a princess and a bridge using a preposition in here. What do you guys think? So you've got to have the words princess and bridge and a prepositional phrase. So you're going to need one of these on page 43. Could be something as simple as the princess walked over the bridge, because over is a preposition. It's right there. So that could be one. That's easy. Can anybody think of a different one? Eliana, you got one?
The princess walked across the bridge.
Ooh, another good one. Yes, the princess walked across the bridge. Malia, you got one?
Would on be one?
Yeah,
Like,
you could use on. Can you think of a sentence with on?
the princess walked on the bridge.
Yeah, that's good too. That'll work. So you guys pick your favorite of those. And you're going to write it on those lines right here. I'm going to put the princess. I'll put walked, but you could put like hopped or ran or another way she got across the bridge. Walked across. I like that one. The bridge. The princess walked across the bridge. So across is showing the relationship between the princess and the bridge, and that she walked across it. Okay. Right here it says, it says, answer these questions orally. What is the prepositional phrase pattern? So a prepositional phrase always starts with a preposition. Those are those words on page 43 that you just looked at. And it has a noun or a pronoun. But the thing about a prepositional phrase, it does not have a verb. So it has a preposition and a noun or a pronoun, but no verb. Like across the bridge has the preposition across and the noun bridge. But notice there's no verb there. And here it says, list 5 prepositions. So we're going to write down 5 of them. Can you guys remember from that list? You can look back if you have to. What are, and you can just volunteer, what is a preposition? We're going to list 5 of them, so you each can tell me one. because there's 5 people in this class. Well, 5 counting me, so. I'm gonna pick over. What's another preposition? Raise your hand when you have one, and you can look back on that page if you want. Sydney?
For.
For? Good. By
Yeah.
the way, good morning, Sydney. I forgot to say good morning to you. Is that what you said for? Okay. What else, Eliana?
How about off?
Say it again.
Off.
Off. Yep. What else? How about Malia?
So we can just like pick anyone that's on the list.
Yeah, just pick any one of them.
Like.
Like, good. And then Megan, do you find one?
After.
After. Good. There you go. There's 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Over, for, off, like, after. They just want you to, there's more than that. Obviously, there's like 20 or even more than that. They just wanted you to pick 5. All right. And then down here it says, think about it. Many words can be used as different parts of speech. However, a word can perform only one part of speech at a time. For example, since can be a preposition that begins a prepositional phrase, and since can be a WWW word that begins an adverb clause. So here's 2 examples. The first one says prepositional phrase. The princess has been sick since yesterday. That's a prepositional phrase, since yesterday. And it says the pattern is the preposition since plus the noun yesterday, no verb. And then if you keep going, there's an adverb clause example here. And that one says the princess has been sick since she ate the apples. Since she ate the apples is the adverb clause. And the pattern is the WWW word since plus a subject, she, and plus a verb ate. So that's the difference between the two. Even though since is on both lists, it's on the preposition list and it's on the www.asia list. It depends on how it's used in the sentence. If it does not have a verb next to it, it's going to be a prepositional phrase. If it does have a verb next to it or after it, then it's going to be an adverb clause. Okay, they just wanted you to recognize that and know that. All right, we're done with that page. Let's go on. And I'm going to have Malia read the sentence today when you're ready.
It grew and grew to the floor, out the window, and over the lush lawn.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I think, what are we talking about? What's growing, Malia?
Um,
You remember?
no.
Do you guys remember what's growing? What is it, Sydney?
The nose.
His nose, remember? Something weird happened when he started eating those apples. And his nose kept growing, kind of like Pinocchio. And then that word lush right here just means really, really green. That's what lush means. Like healthy, green, lawn. Put a check by vocabulary. There's 3 articles. You can find those by yourself. And then Megan, where are the 3 nouns?
Floor,
Good.
window, lawn.
Good. You were ready, huh? Because you did some of this already. That's good. Okay, those are the 3 nouns. How about the pronoun Eliana? There's only one.
It.
Good. It is the pronoun. And we're talking about the nose. It is taking place of the nose, right? That's the pronoun there. What's the adjective, Sydney?
Lush.
Good, lush. Very good. Go ahead and tilt your camera down a little bit more, Sydney, because I can just see your forehead. There we go. That's better. Check. Coordinating conjunctions, Malia. Remember the fanboy words. There's two of them.
And
And
and.
and again. Two
There's
and.
one for a second.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll come back to the prepositional phrases, but Megan, what about the verbs? Where do you see the verbs? There's two of them. See the action verbs there?
Two.
No, not two. So what is the nose doing?
Oh, growing.
There we go. So grew is a verb, and then we have grew again. So the two verbs are grew and grew. That's
Put three verbs. Because I thought
oh,
there's three.
well, it says one subject verb pair. That's what I'm looking at right here. One subject verb pair, but that's kind of confusing sometimes because
Yeah.
number tells how many subjects, but sometimes there's more verbs with it. Like in this case, there's two. But Megan, what is it? What is the subject? What
The
it's
subject
going to be
is
what
it.
grew? It. Good. Yes, you got it. So,
Page 150.
oh my goodness, went ahead, huh? Okay, what about the three prepositional phrases, Eliana? There's three of them.
Prepositional phrases. Over
Okay, the whole phrase over what?
the last one.
Over the lush lawn is one. What else?
Two
Two. What's the whole phrase?
to the floor,
Good.
out the window.
And out the window. Very good. So we have three phrases: to the floor, out the window, over the lush lawn. And then our capital, that one's easy. And then your end mark, that's also easy. Just a pin period at the end. Easy peasy. Notice how each one of those phrases does not have a verb in it. To the floor, it's just an article and a noun with it. Out the window, over the lush lawn. So keep that in mind when you're looking for prepositional phrases. All right, that's done. Let's go on to the binder next. Yes, Eliana?
Am I allowed to read my sentences? Because I finished all of them.
Wait, hold on. Say that one more time.
Am I allowed to read those paper sentences about the Antarctica page and that kind of stuff?
Oh, you know what? I think we're gonna go back to the camel story. Did you write your first paragraph on that? You can share
Yes, I want to read that
that.
one. I want to read that one.
Yeah. So let's get our camel stuff out because we're gonna go back to that. That was before the practice test. Remember, we talked about pictures. That was pretty fun. We were having fun with that one. So get out everything for the camel intent. And you guys should have, hopefully still in your front pocket. Gotta find mine too. Got a lot of stuff in here. Let's see.
I like typed mine, so mine's all finished. I just haven't turned it in yet.
Okay, good. That's okay. You can turn it in later today or whenever you get a chance. So we didn't have any lined paper with this one. We just had this little set of papers that we got out of our binder. And we were looking at this page with the pictures of the camel. You guys should have some notes on here for the first one. We do have a little bit of time though. If anybody wants to share their paragraph, I see Eliana's hand. Yes. I see Malia's hand. Anybody else want to share your first paragraph from this? Okay. Liana, did you have something else to say too? Or you just want to
No,
read?
I just kept raising my hand.
Okay.
Just to read.
How about you go first? Do you want me to pull it up on my computer or do you have it on yours?
I have it.
Okay. So whenever you're ready, go ahead and read your first paragraph. And then Malia, I'll have you go next.
Once upon a time, there was a camel named Jeff who wandered around in the Sahara Desert. Suddenly, while walking around, he spotted a tent with a man inside. How do I get in there? He mumbled to himself. Then he found a hole and carefully pushed his head inside of it. Hello, my name is Jeff. May I come inside to rest? Because wandering around in the Sahara Desert is quite exhausting, he whispered. The man replied, My name is Roberto. And what are you doing? You'll hurt your head. And that's all I have for right now.
Good. Yay. Let's give her a clap. I can't wait to find out what happens next. That's a good one. I like it. Jeff and Roberto. I love the names too. So I noticed that yours had some speaking parts in it. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but let me hear Malia's paragraph next. Go ahead whenever you're ready, Malia.
Well, so I printed it on, not printed it, typed it on Google Docs. So how do I do two tabs at once? Like,
Actually, I might be able to pull it up for you. Do you want me to see if I can find it?
no, I
Or
didn't,
you
I
want to
haven't turned
watch
it
it?
in yet.
I mean, you want to read it? Okay, so if you know on your keyboard, you see ESC at the top left side, it's called escape. If you click that, escape, ESC at the top left, then it should make the zoom smaller. Do you see how, can you
Yeah,
find your Google? Okay, go ahead and go to that now.
I didn't do anything.
It didn't do
Yeah,
anything?
no.
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't know.
I don't know how to tell you without being there. Let me see if I can. I know you said you didn't turn it in, but sometimes I know how to find it. So let me see if I can actually find it.
My computer has been acting funny recently, and we can't turn it in on my laptop, so we always turn it on my mom's. So maybe you
Okay.
can ask her to turn it in real quick.
Yeah, how about you do that? You can ask her if she can turn it in, but then maybe at the end of class you can read it because I don't want to get too far behind. But maybe you could have her turn it in and then later we could read it. Is that gonna work?
But it's on my laptop, so how would she turn it? I don't know.
She turns it in? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I think- But
How about we
um,
save it for next week? How about we have you go first next week?
okay.
Yeah, that's probably going to be easier. That way, and you know what? Everybody's going to want to read it next week because it'll be done, hopefully. So, because we're going to do all three paragraphs. You already did one, and then we're going to do the other paragraphs this week. So, Megan or Sydney, did you guys want to read yours or not yet? Yeah. Okay. Sydney's saying yes. Do you have yours, Sydney, or do you need me to pull it up?
Can you pull it up?
I can pull it up. And Megan, did you want to read yours or do you want to wait?
Yes, I'll read mine.
Okay. And do you have yours with you too?
Yep.
Okay. Let me share Sydney's real quick. And then Sydney, you can read, and then Megan, you can read yours. Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, there you go.
One time, strangely, a camel poked his head inside a man's tent, whose name was Crusoe, because the camel was hot and the tent was the perfect place to rest, which he was deeply confused and thought was certain the camel would leave, but he was scared of the big head. Also, the camel in his head thought the tent looked cozy and was his home.
Okay, good. I love it so far. We're going to see what happens to Crusoe and the camel in the next paragraphs. Give her a clap, you guys. Let's give her a clap in the camera. Good job, Sydney. Okay, and then Megan, I think I have yours too. Yes, I do, right here. Let me zoom in a little so it's easier to see. Okay, whenever you're ready.
All right. One afternoon, Jake was happily sitting down inside his tent. It was 100 degrees outside.
Uh-oh.
A camel poked its head inside Jake's tent. Jake looked surprised. The camel, who was huge and wanted to come inside the red and white striped tent because it felt hot outside. The man tried to decide if the camel could come in. It was 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, you must have added that part because this says something different. Good, I like it. Is that the end of your paragraph?
Yeah.
Good job. Let's give her a clap, you guys in the camera.
Thank
Very
you.
good. I like
It's
it.
funny, but 100 degrees.
Yeah, that's hot. No
Uh-huh.
wonder. No wonder he wants to go in the tent. Okay, so we're going to go back to this and let's look at the second picture now. So you guys already did the first one, so we're going to ignore that picture. In fact, I'll even just kind of cover it up here. Okay, we're going to focus on the second picture only. Looks like the camel made it inside, and now the guy is like not sure about this. So for Roman numeral 2, remember the central fact, that means what's literally happening in the picture. So who wants to tell me what they literally see in the picture? Sydney, what do you see happening in the picture here?
The camel pushes himself in the tent.
Okay, so camel, maybe I'll just put camel inside tent. That's literally what's happening in the picture. Now, you guys might already have a name for your camel. You can use that name here if you want. Malia, did you want to say something?
My paper is in the other room. Can I go get it real quick?
Yes, yes, go ahead and go get it. By the way, you guys should have at the top here, do you guys have all the question words from last time written at the top of your page? Okay, good. So before we write anything else, though, let's brainstorm for a minute, looking at what's happening here, going through these questions that you have on the top, like, what is the man thinking? What is the camel thinking? And who can tell me a little bit about what's happening in this picture? Kind of go on from your story that you started with your paragraph. What do you think you're going to write about next about your story? Anybody have any ideas yet? How does the camel feel? How does the man feel? What are they thinking? What do you think is going to happen next? Start thinking about those types of stuff. Okay, Malia?
I think I think my camel is gonna I don't know.
Okay. Anybody have any ideas yet?
Wait. I think that the camel will okay, so I think the man will tell him to leave and then the camel will just keep on going and then the man will try and push the camel out, but he will eventually like lose and
You're looking ahead at that picture. Yeah. So try to keep it about this part. But Sydney, do you have any other ideas about what could be happening right here?
So the camel jumps in the tent, and the camel does not care that the man is there, and the man tries to push the camel out, but the camel does not care.
The camel does not care. The camel looks like he's kind of smiling, huh? The way it looks like the camel's like, ah, this is perfect. Exactly what I wanted. But the man, has a different thought about what's happening. What do you think, Megan? What's going on in this?
Bored. I think he's bored.
The camel's bored?
No, he's bored,
The
Jake.
guy?
Yeah.
Sydney, what else? Oops, you're muted. Hold on. Okay.
The guy is shocked that the camel put his whole entire body in there, and he's trying to push the camel back, but the camel pushes him instead. It bounces back, and then yeah.
That's great. I love those ideas. He's shocked. To me, that's what he looks like too. His mouth is open, his eyes are big. Eliana, what do you think is going on here?
I would say, like, Jeff says, thanks for giving me the tent. And then and then Roberto says, wait, this is my tent because I bought it.
That's a good one. I like that too. What do you guys, so start writing down some keywords here with what you want to put in your story. So everybody's is going to be a little bit different. You guys all have different ideas. So start putting down some notes here for yourself about what's happening. And then what do you think? Because I'm wondering if the camel smells. What do you think the camel would smell like in a little tent like that? What do you think, Sydney?
He would smell like his poop, and it would smell really bad, and he would smell like flies, and he would smell like trash, and he would smell like sand.
All the bad things at once, huh? Camels are they're cute and all, but they are pretty stinky. I don't know if you've ever really been around farm animals or on a farm. Of course, you guys know I have a farm. I live on a farm. I feed them every day. I'm out there all the time. And yeah, there's poop on the ground because that's where they go, right? Farm animals just go wherever they're at, especially the cow. The cow has a big poop. So camels, because they're pretty big, I think their poop is big too. And then they walk in it and it gets on them because they lay down in it. And I bet it's pretty stinky. Eliana, what do you think?
I had a question of something if I could add it, even
Okay.
if it's not in the picture. Is it okay if I would be able to like add like the camel? I would like change the size of the tent and say like um the camel wanted to throw a party with the other camels. That's why he pushed the guy out of the tent. I was
Yes, yes,
thinking,
you can do that. That's a great idea. You guys, this is like a free write for you. So you can write about whatever you come up with. It can be even more than what's happening in this picture. Remember,
yeah, 'cause
go
I
ahead.
was also I was also thinking of the camel having his own phone to text or call his other friends like
You
the
can do
party
that
is
too.
starting in 10 minutes. You should come over.
Yes, you can totally do that. Your camel can talk, your camel can make a phone call and text and have a party. Your camel can do whatever you want your camel to do. It's totally open to your imagination. Yes, Sydney.
One time I rode a horse, and we kept on stopping because the horse kept on wanting to poop and pee. So I had to stop riding it because it kept on pooping and peeing, and it was disgusting.
Horses are like that. They're pretty funny. They have to stop when they poop and pee. Goats and cows and stuff. Well, I guess they stop too, but goats sometimes they'll just walk and poop at the same time. But horses, they've got to stop and do that and then move on. That's funny.
When my friend was in front of me, and I realized that the horses don't stop to poop. So when I was going and my friend's horse was in front of me, I saw it poop, and I was
That's funny. All right, so I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes here to put down some notes for yourself about what answering these questions at the top. And by the way, those were good questions from you, Eliana, about other things going on, because another thing you can think about is what might be happening outside of the frame of the picture that we can't see. Maybe there's a whole group of camels back there and they've got party hats on or something, and they're waiting to go to a party. You can do that. Or if there's people, or maybe they're at a circus, because it kind of looks a little bit like a circus tent, maybe. Maybe they're at a circus, they're getting ready for a show, and the maybe the camel's nervous about the show or something. So just put down some keywords here to help you remember what you're thinking of. And Malia, do you think of something else?
So are we doing both paragraphs this week?
Yes. Right now we're just talking about this one, but in a minute we're going to move on to this one. But yes, you're going to finish this story this week. You're going to do paragraphs 2 and 3.
I think the first thing I'm gonna do is so the camel is like trying to push him out, right?
Yeah,
And then he takes his cell phone out and then he orders McDonald's and then and then the man comes to the like tent and he knocks on the tent and then he gives them the McDonald's and yeah, I think that's
that's a
gonna
good one. That's a good one. I like it. Maybe it's the camel's birthday, or maybe it's the guy's birthday. Of course, he's not having a very good birthday if it's his birthday. But you could think of whatever. You guys, you can use your imagination. So, and if you don't think of something for all 5 things, that's okay. Just put down the notes that you can think of, just so that later when you're ready to write it, you can remember your ideas. Okay. So just put some keywords down here like call McDonald's or camel birthday party or those types of words to help you remember the plot that you want to come up with. Okay. I'm going to give you a minute to work on that. Okay. You guys have any questions about anything else you want to say about the middle picture? Because we're going to move on to the last one. Megan, do you know what you're going to write about here yet?
I only got bored and birthday party.
Okay. Well, that's okay. You can think of it more about that later too. And by the way, let me just tell you, for this assignment, if it's easier for you to just start writing without your keyword outline, that's okay with me. We're just going to brainstorm in class together to get some ideas down. But you don't have to stick to this. You can just get creative as you're writing and
Oh,
make it up as you go. That's okay with me. So maybe later, Megan, when
yeah.
you sit down to do it, you'll have some other ideas. Okay. So don't worry about it if you didn't fill all this in. It's okay. Let's move on to the third picture, though, because I know you got some plots, some ideas going here. Remember, the central fact is what's literally in the picture. So, what's in this picture? Who wants to tell me, like, literally, what do you see in the picture itself? Malia?
the guy outside of the tent and the camel in the tent, and he can't really fit in the tent.
Yes. I think this is his, like, the camel's backside and his tail sticking out.
Mm.
And then here's the guy on the outside, like you said, and he's holding his head. So, I think he might have gotten hurt. But we could put something like camel pushed, and then the guy's name, and then maybe like an arrow meaning like out. Camel pushed, Crusoe, Jeffrey, whatever you guys name your guy, out. That's what's literally in the picture. And then from here, we're going to brainstorm again. So some of you already have a plot going. I know Eliana's going to do a party. So what do you think is going to be your third paragraph? What are you going to talk about there? Go ahead, Eliana.
I was gonna say like the camel threw a party and there's lights shining everywhere.
Yes. With lights shining like a disco light inside the tent.
Yeah.
Disco light. I love it. Is it a party? Is it a certain party for like, is it a birthday party? Is it a celebration about something? Or do you know yet what kind of party it
I
is?
think it's the celebration of when the camels first came to Earth.
Okay. When the camels first, Eliana, you were cracking me up. I can tell you enjoy the creative writing. It's hard for me. I can't think of stuff like that, but I love it. I love what you're thinking. Malia and then Sydney and Megan, I want you to be thinking too, like what's happening in this picture. But go ahead, Malia.
Think the tent's gonna be bigger, and then the McDonald's man will come give him McDonald's, and then his friends will come over, and then they'll have a party, and then they'll all eat too much McDonald's, and they'll all fall asleep in the tent.
That's gonna be awesome. I love it. They'll just be falling asleep on each other because it's so crowded in there. Oh, you said the tent's gonna be bigger. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, Sydney, what about you?
So in my second paragraph, the Crusoe says no. So and the camel says no, and then the camel pushes him out and slaps him and says, "No, get out of here."
So it's getting a little violent between the camel and the guy. Uh-oh. No party at Sydney's tent here. There's no party going on. They're having a battle. I love it. It's a good one. How about you, Megan? Did you think of something for this one?
Pizza delivery.
Yeah. They're gonna order pizza. I love it.
Yeah.
Are they gonna do anything else, like watch a movie or have a party, play some games?
Maybe have a TV.
There you go.
Like watch TV and play video games like Minecraft
Video
or
games.
Roblox or something.
I love it. So write some of those things down so you don't forget, because that's gonna be funny. Oh my goodness. I can't
Okay.
wait to read these. That is gonna be funny. Okay, so just make some notes for yourself. Here's some key words to help you remember what your plot's gonna be. This is going to be so fun. I'm going to make sure we leave time for everybody to read their story next week. So try really hard to get it done so we can share it next week. Going to be fun. Eliana?
Can I share one of the sentences?
Yes.
It said, so Jeff the camel found a way inside of the tent. Thanks for the tent, which I stole, he exclaimed.
Ooh, and you got your witch claws in there too. Nice. Yes. I love that. Okay, I'll give you guys just one more minute to write down some keywords for yourself. And then we're going to talk about how to write quotes, because I can tell a lot of people are going to have talking parts in their story, which is great. I love it. We're going to talk about how to actually make sure you do the punctuation right with that part so you're ready to write it this week. Gonna be good. And like I said, if it helps you to have notes here, you can put down some keywords for yourself just to help you remember your plot. If that doesn't help you, it's okay to just start writing when you're ready, when you sit down for your homework later. So a lot of you are typing now, which is great. I love that you're typing. Some of you are not typing yet. That's okay. You can handwrite it. But if you type it, it's easier to fix things. So hopefully eventually you guys can start typing pretty soon. Okay, so I want to talk to you for a minute. I know some of you are still writing, that's okay. About the quotations, like I said, it's actually, I want you to go back to your grammar book and get your grammar books out. And you should have a tab. I don't know if you actually have it in here or not, but go to page 67. Page 67 in your grammar book real quick. And you're going to notice at the bottom half of that page, it says quotation marks. So hopefully you have a Post-it note near you. If you do, and maybe you already have this one marked, I don't know, but let's write quotations on here and mark this page 67, because that's going to help you when you get to the speaking part of your stories, because I love that your characters, the camel and the guy, are talking to each other. And I love that. So I want to make sure you're ready and that you know how to set up a quote. Okay, a quotation. So get a Post-it note if you have one. If you don't have one, you can do this part later. Put quotations on the part that's not sticky. Okay, so turn it upside down and put it there. Quotations. And then stick it at the top of that page so you can find it later. I love that our book has a bunch of these sticking out. You know, we got adverbs, we got fanboys, we've got prepositions. It's good. You can use your grammar book when you're writing too. So stick it at the top here like that. So it's just part of it sticking out. There we go. And let's look at that page. Down here, it says quotation marks. And we have two parts to quotes. We talked about this before. It has the quote, which is what they're saying, and then the attribution. So if your camel is speaking or screaming, if your camel is screaming, that's the attribution. And then whatever he's screaming, like, let me in, that's going to be the actual quote. That's what he's saying. That's going to be in quotation marks. So there's a few ways to do this. Do you see down here where it says attribution, comma, and then a quote? And then it says quote, comma, attribution. So when you make your sentences for your story, you can use both of those ways. You can switch it back and forth. That makes it more interesting to read. Notice if it has a question mark, this is where it goes inside the quotation mark. And then if it's an exclamation mark, which you're probably going to need that one because your guy, I know a couple of you already said, you know, what are you doing in my tent? That's a question. But maybe he says, get out. I think somebody said that in their story. So you would use an exclamation mark here. So on the back of your pictures, I think we should write a few examples back here. So I'm going to go to the back side of your picture page. So we have a nice blank page to work with here. So turn that over, the pictures of the camel and the guy. And let's write a couple practice sentences here. So let's say your guy's name is Bob. Does anybody have Bob in their story? Oh, it's Malia. I thought I read it somewhere. Bob is the guy. So let's practice a few of
I
these.
have a Bob in my story, but it's kind of a Roberto. It's
Oh,
just
yeah.
the nickname of Roberto. So
Roberto. I love it. So let's practice this. Everybody write this on the back, even though maybe your guy's name is something different. You can put your guy's name if you want. You don't have to use Bob. Bob yelled. And then you're going to put a comma. Bob yelled, or your guy, if it's Crusoe or whatever your guy's Jeffrey, whoever is doing the yelling. Bob yelled, comma, and then the quote. And you're going to put something like, it's a capital W because it's the beginning of what he says. What are you doing? And then you're going to do a question mark and the quote. Let me lighten this up so you can see it a little better here. There we go. Bob yelled, or whatever your guy's name is, yelled, comma, quote, and then make sure your first letter right here, this one, is a capital, okay? Because when he first starts the sentence, it's like you're going to treat it like a regular sentence. What are you doing? And then notice the question mark. is on the inside of the quotation mark. Okay? Not on the outside. So you do the question mark first and then the quotation mark. Let's try another one. Let's start with what he's saying first. Let's put the quote first this time. So put a quotation mark and put capital W, why are you in my tent? Question mark, quotation mark. Why are you in my tent? And then I'm going to put he asked. That's the attribution. The attribution is who's saying it. In this one, it's he. That's referring back to Bob or whoever your guy's name is. He asked. It's how he's saying it. So make sure this one's capital, the very first letter of what he says. And then notice this part, he is not capital. That's because the pattern here on our book for questions, if the attribution comes first, a comma, and then the quote is capital. And then here we have the quote first, and then the attribution is not capitalized. So that follows this pattern. The attribution is first, it's going to be capital. After, it's not capital. Okay, so let's try to practice a couple more here. Does anybody have any other ideas on speaking parts for your story that we could practice on the back here? Any other speaking parts? Eliana?
I have kind of a funny one. Well,
Okay.
it's actually two of them mixed together almost. So, remember how I said thanks for the tent, which I stole, that Jeff exclaimed?
Yes. That's a good one.
Roberto replies in, "You frustrating intelligent camel, this is my tent," cried Roberto.
Okay, so which one of those do you want to write on the back here for practice?
I want to do the one where Roberto is trying to argue with the camel.
Okay, so tell it to me one more time.
"You frustratingly intelligent camel, this is my tent."
Okay, let's stop there for a second. That's going to be a capital. Let's practice this one. You frustratingly
Intelligent
intelligent
camel,
camel.
this is my tent.
So those are two sentences. I like that. That's good. You frustratingly intelligent camel. Exclamation point. Or you know what? Let's put a comma. Sorry. Let's put a comma. Let's put a comma there after camel. And then we're going to keep going. This is my tent. And then let's put an exclamation mark. And then let's end the quote. So you have, you frustratingly intelligent camel. This is my tent. Of course, this is Eliana's sentence, so we can't steal her sentence, but you could do something similar to that if you wanted to. And then what did you put for the attribution, Eliana?
Um, cried Roberto.
Oh, good. So this is going to be lowercase because remember, it's after the quote. So we don't need to capitalize it if it's after. Cried Roberto. And of course, that's capitalized because it's a name. You frustratingly intelligent camel. This is my tent, cried Roberto. Okay, that's a good quote. Does anybody have another one you want to practice on the back? Another part in your story that's a speaking part? Malia, you have one?
Yeah, so when they have the party, they realize that, and then they fall asleep because of McDonald's. Well, I added that they realized the McDonald's was poison, kind of. It had like
Oh no.
sleeping powder in it.
Oh
So
no.
yeah, someone's like they all feel sleepy,
Okay.
and then someone says so. It's like the camels all feel sleepy,
Okay.
and then someone says, this McDonald's is poison. And then one of the camels said,
Okay. Let's
Mhm.
try that. We'll put the quote first. This, and make sure you capitalize that first letter. And then McDonald's is the name of a restaurant. So we're got to capitalize that too. This McDonald's is poisonous. Is that what you wanted to say? Poisonous! Exclamation point. That's going to be it. Like, oh no. And then the quotation mark. And then who says that and how do they say it?
I haven't. Okay. So, this McDonald's is poison, Bob says frustratingly.
Okay. Ooh, yeah. Okay. So Bob is going to be a capital B. And instead of says, because remember, that's actually a banned word now. So what can we put in?
Not, I forgot, not Bob, because the
Oh,
man's name is Bob. I keep on mixing them
oh,
up.
okay, okay.
I didn't give the camel name. I forgot to do that.
That's
So,
okay. We could just call
he's
it the
just camel.
camel. Yeah, okay. So that's going to be lowercase because it's after the quote. So the camel. And then instead of said, because that's banned, what can we put instead of said?
Shouted.
Okay, good. I like it. Shouted. Okay. So remember, when you guys have these speaking parts, you want to make sure to not use say or said. You can go back to your banned words list and try to come up with other ways to put that. Let's do one more. Either Megan or Sydney, can you think of one more thing that maybe in your story you're going to have them say? What do you think, Megan?
Happy birthday song.
Happy birthday song.
Yep.
So, okay, let's see. How can we put that? Who's singing it?
Jake's parents.
Jake's parents. Okay, let's start with that. Let's put Jake's. That's going to have a capital J because that's a name and it's the first part. Jake's parents sang, comma, quote, happy birthday to you. Exclamation
It's
point.
actually a long one.
I mean, you could write out the whole song if you wanted to. I'm just going to do the first line. Happy birthday to you. You guys know the song. But notice how we put the attribution first here. I want you guys to see that pattern. We've got two different ways to do quotes for our story. You can put the attribution first and then the quote, or you can put the quote first and then the attribution. I want you guys to mix it up in your story so it's not the same every time. Okay. And this one has the attribution first. Jake's parents sang. Notice the comma. You guys need to really work on the punctuation part of this. So use this to look back on if you need to. Jake's parents sang, comma, quote, happy birthday to you, exclamation point, end quote. Notice that it's on the inside here of the quotation mark. So all those little details are really, really important in writing. It's called punctuation, and it's really important that you get it correct on how you punctuate your sentences, especially with quotes like this. All right. Do you guys have any questions about what we just practiced back here? Okay. Use the pattern that we practiced on your quotes. I can't wait to hear about how your story ends up. By the way, let's look at the checklist really quick because some of you used went a lot in your story. Make sure you don't use go or went, good or bad, any of these words. Say, said, see, saw, think, thought. Watch out for those banned words because if I find them, I'm going to take points off of your paper. Like sometimes I do that, but I'll give you a chance to fix it and then turn it back in for a better score. So make sure you don't use any of these. And then make sure you do use your dress ups there. Okay. And your topic clinchers, all that stuff still applies. It's right here. And then when you're finished, you can make a new title for your story. And the title rule is here. It's centered and repeats 1 to 3 keywords from final sentence. So make sure you include all the stuff on your checklist. Eliana, and then I see Malia's hand too.
So something I added instead of going or go in my second paragraph, I used virtual spots just friends rampaging over.
Yeah, that's good. That's better than go or went. Good job. I like it. How about you, Malia? What did you want to say?
Do we have time for roses and thorns?
Let's do that. Does anybody have any questions about homework though right now? You guys are all good? You know what to do? You're gonna finish paragraphs 2 and 3. You can use your notes if you need to. If you don't need to, you can just write them. It's okay. Just make sure that you follow the checklist here. And when you got the speaking parts, don't forget to look back on our examples here too from class. Okay, so let me stop the recording. And then yes, if you guys want to do roses